1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the live stream, even though I don't see it. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a few seconds behind, so the people will be
okay.
coming in.
But I don't see it. Oh, I don't see it all. There it is. Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
always going to be a few
Yeah.
seconds behind.
So as we mentioned on the message boards, Zach was wonderful enough to get us some footage of Wilkie Denauds today from the big man camp. He was one of the folks that was up working out, and I would say he got a lot of attention today. It seems like from Mike Norvell and Odell Higgins. I would assume that JP was probably there checking it out. Also, interesting that Odell was doing a lot of the work with him. Maybe
why is that?
Well, because Odell works predominantly with the interior, and is he? Oh my goodness, my dog. Give me 2 seconds and I'll let this stinking dog out. For any dog owners out there, love your animals. Make sure you let them out.
Yeah, so now that AB is going to leave me, I'm going to be on my own here for a second. But Wilkie Denauds is a 4-star on 247's recruiting rankings. I think 247 has him as a 3-star, actually. So that kind of gives the impression that he's kind of in that high 3-star, low 4-star category as time goes on. And so, AB, I've been hearing a rumor that there's a little bit of controversy, a little bit of dissenting opinions about this kid. So we should probably cover that before we dive into the film.
Well, I think that I think what you've heard correctly, and you heard that from me right before we got started. Yeah. But
just trying to set you up a little back.
I know on Noel's 24/7 message boards, it's been a hot topic. Things are kind of down in the old recruiting world right now for Florida State Seminoles, and got a 4-star prospect sitting out there. Everybody's wanting to know why the hell aren't we taking this guy? Why aren't we taking this 4-star? 4-star looked great in our class. We got a little film. Florida State seems to have been slow playing him somewhat. Not sure if he's necessarily a take for them. Staff's trying to kind of figure out what the deal is. Let's get into the film and let's get an idea of maybe why they're slow playing him.
Yeah. All right. So this is thanks to Zach. He made this nice little cut up for us. This is on the 247 this YouTube channel actually. So if you want to watch it without us blabbering on, it's also on here. But we're here to answer any questions you might have about this kid. So running a 5 flat, not gonna really set the world on fire at the defensive end position at 4.92.
He runs real tight. Let's run it back there so we can. Not that I want to be staring at shirtless 17-year-olds all
right, you don't have to make it weird, AB.
He's a little tight running there. And for a defensive lineman, I'm not 100% concerned with their 40 time because it's a 40 time. How much?
I think Verse might run like a 4.7.
Yeah, I think you might be right. So I would love to know what his 10-yard split was on that. His get off isn't bad. He gets real tight, he gets upright.
Yeah, you can see that in these drills, turning these corners, that he is kind of tight.
It looks kind of painful watching him move. But his first couple steps aren't bad, which is, kind of where his bread and butter would be. One thing I'm not impressed with is his effort.
He seems to be dogging it a little bit through these drills.
Yeah, and I'm a little uncomfortable doing this and having this conversation because this is a 17-year-old young man, and I don't want to dog on him too much. I don't want to say a lot of bad stuff about him, but it's not encouraging to see the amount of effort having to be coached each rep by him. So he doesn't really understand how to run. He's very tight.
Yeah, you can see here.
You should be moving your arms. I mean, your arms should be in unison here with your feet, and he's just kind of stiff and upright.
Yeah, he never gets low. So this is his running height, and then his quick, agile movement height is the same.
Yeah.
So I think he's an interesting prospect because, frankly, he's got a big frame. So I think that's kind of what they're seeing out of him with that 4-star rating. And I think it's telling that Odell is talking to him. So I think if you watch him and you want to compare him to a Jared Verse, that's obviously not going to be a very good comparison. To me, he's a kind of kid that needs to put on 50 pounds to be a 3 tech if he's gonna play significant high end Power 5 football.
I'd be curious what his verified weight was if they weighed them today. I would assume they probably got some weights on him for a camp. If he's 240, could they get him to 275 and make him a 3 tech? It would be interesting. I think right now, and we'll probably touch on this a little bit more at the end, but I think right now, if you were going to take him, I think you're taking him as a Fox, because he can be that edge setting run presence.
Yeah, he's definitely got the strength.
He gets off. He's not seeing square. He's got to get coached up. There's technique and kind of understanding of where you're at and how to play some of these things. But he's built kind of wide, and he looks to have decent length.
Yeah, I think he's the kind of kid where you look to Josh Storms, your strength and conditioning coach, and you say, well, what can we get out of this frame? What can we do with this body type? Because I think as a Fox, he's got a ceiling there.
Yeah.
I personally think, if he's going to make an impact, he's going to be a decently quick-footed 3 tech.
You don't think he could grow into Keir Thomas?
I mean, he might could grow into a Keir Thomas. I wouldn't put it past him.
I mean, that's not bad hand play there.
Yeah, I think that shows up on his film better than these cone drills that we've been seeing. Is the hand play and the he's like just
when he's moving here, he looks like a much more fluid athlete than he did trying to run that 40 earlier and trying to do some of those bag drills. Like those looked that all looked very unnatural to him.
Right.
Now they're doing some run stuff here again, which I like. I mean, again, he gets off the ball pretty well. He brings his hands well. He's a strong kid. He kind of comes off with his head down. Don't love that. He's a little bit of a just kind of bull in a china shop there. So
yeah, I think that it's one of those things where, if he's a take, I think he's probably a little overinflated on the composite. I would probably personally say he's a high 3-star. I think you can go either way. I think it really depends on what you're projecting for the rest of this class, right? Like, is he taking up a spot that you could give to someone else? Because, I mean, I do think realistically he could play 3 tech or Fox, depending on how his body grows over the next couple of years. But I
tend to agree. That's where my thought went right away. Is he a plan B type kid that if you miss on some of your higher level guys, that you look to maybe fall back on him as a prospect for your class? I tend to agree. I think he's a high 3-star type kid, maybe low 4 if he continues to fill out, maybe loosens up a little bit. It's tough to say because you don't know what kind of weight program these guys have.
But that's the thing. Programs. I think it's easier. I think you're more likely to see a kid gain strength and grow into a frame than you're going to see a kid gain that flexibility and athleticism and fluidity.
Yeah.
That really kind of separates the wheat from the chaff when it comes to the defensive line.
I mean, you think of a kid like Jared Verse you mentioned earlier. Jermaine, even though Jermaine was not necessarily the most fluid prospect, he was kind of polished and strong, and he did have some nice twitch getting off the ball. But I don't know. He's an interesting prospect. I know the reason we jumped on here is because it's been such a hot topic about him. That people have been wanting him to commit back since back in March when they thought kind of maybe he would, or the spring game, and now here we are, the 8th of June. He's still not committed. Is he a prospect that they are really looking to take? I would say based on what you saw today, I don't think he is. I think he could be down the line, and I think you'd be wise to keep him warm. But I would say today, coming out of today, based on kind of some of the stuff we talked to, Zach kind of gave us some feedback, and Brendan, and in what we saw on this today, I would say he's not a guy you're looking to bring in right away.
Yeah,
So,
and before we kind of write him off, I think we should kind of do our due diligence here. Um, maybe
uh,
watch a minute of
yeah,
his film.
absolutely. I'm curious. Does he have on his huddle? Does he have his spring game?
I do not see a spring game on his huddle. I just kind of see
Okay, okay, that's fine.
his junior
Go to
highlights.
go back up. Go to highlights. And search that way,
You're getting the
and go to recent
there
at
we
the
go.
top. Search.
I mean,
Okay, so that's the most recent. All right, that's
yeah.
fine.
So it is what it is. It's pinned. He's proud of these highlights, so I think it's
So while we are going to look at this, I'm going to answer a couple questions. Any thoughts on the Turntine kid out of South Carolina? We'll see. Zach did a great write up on 24/7 today on Knowles 24/7 about him. He's a player. If you think he's going to fit your locker room, I think I would take just because as a body, and we'll get Kev's thoughts as we wrap up the film here. But let me focus on Wilkie.
yeah. I think Wilkie here. I think you see a lot of the same stuff. You know, maybe not the highest motor kid. He's got a decent frame to work off. You know, it really just depends on kind of where you see him. I personally don't see him as a rush end like he's kind of playing here. I guess he's a three tech this snap. But I mean, I think I still think he's that high 3-star, low 4-star category. I would encourage people to not get too wrapped up in recruiting rankings when they get upset if a kid's not a take or not. It really just depends on where he fits, where you see him projecting. Because
I
he
see
doesn't
him playing upright a lot, which is
right.
concerning, and that kind of lends itself to some of the stiffness we've seen.
Yeah, that's exactly what I see. Is that he's just a little stiff. He's a little upright.
He's long though and strong, so I mean there's some stuff there that makes you want to think you can work with.
Right. There's a reason that he is getting a 4-star rating here. His kind of frame doesn't come along too often. 6'4", 250 is that's a good sized kid. And
kind of reminds me of Janarius Robinson. Not as long as Janarius was, certainly not as explosive as Janarius was, but just kind of stiff and I don't know.
Yeah, he probably looks the part more than he's kind of playing the part, which I guess is my thing about him. I think this kid is a legit prospect if he puts on 30 pounds. I think he's a kid that can give solid minutes and contribute positively to a good Division I football team.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. You got any thoughts on? I know you dug into the Turntine kid out of South Carolina, his stats today. Got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I haven't got to watch any of his film. I just heard his stats. Based off what we heard at South Carolina, he was not necessarily always in shape. He's a kind of kid he's big and he's long, and I think at this point, Alex Atkins has earned the trust of mine to the point to decide if this guy's a take or not.
Yeah, I agree.
Of course, you want depth, but you also don't want just anybody taking up a roster spot. Just because he's long enough and big enough doesn't mean he's actually a functional tackle. Yeah. Yep. So we'll see. It's hard to know. We've also heard stuff that he was in better shape today when he came in, and that's an encouraging sign. So
I think Zach said he looked a lot leaner today than what maybe they were expecting. So that's a positive.
His PFF grades would have him as a third string Florida State offensive lineman. So
and I don't think he's that. And by the way, tomorrow night going to be releasing a little article on the offensive line. So look forward to that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's one of those things where you hear SEC offensive lineman, it's exciting, but temper the enthusiasm. I think he's a kid that if Alex Atkins feels like he can develop and do something with, and it's a take, then it's a take,
Yeah.
I am not familiar enough with the transfer portal to, I don't think anybody is, to know if you're kind of in a a panic situation where you definitely want one or two more offensive linemen before this whole thing is said and done. And so,
yeah, and I think he's the only realistic one that's still out there. I mean, unless a grad transfer jumps into the next.
What happened to that
month.
JUCO kid?
He committed to, I can't remember who he committed to right now, but yeah, he committed to somebody, and it was a similar situation. He was not necessarily a full offer
Gotcha.
type. They're evaluating those guys. Yeah, so I'm just going to trust Atkins on that to make that decision. I don't think when we get to see Kev's film.
Yeah,
all right, chat's blowing up right now. I love it.
Yeah, I suggested for the 5K reveal and the 247 reveal we watch my film, but they weren't about it. So,
thank you, Missouri.
Maybe 10,000.
Yeah, maybe 10,000. Let's get there. We got to get everybody understanding when it's when it's FSU film, we're going to be on X's and Knowles. When it is, thank you guys for making sure I am smart enough to know it's Missouri. Appreciate that. A little brain fart. It's a little late at night for me. I'm an old man now. 9 o'clock late.
He's having to wake up in the morning.
All right. Early. So we had a couple questions that I want to get to before we get out of here. Gator Kirk, shout out to Gator Kirk. Always a legend in the chat.
He's everywhere.
He is everywhere. The man is a man of many talents, a man of many YouTubes. Who was a better prospect that is a FSU lean at DN? I don't think there are any leans. Are there any leans in recruiting for Florida State right now? I'm not sure that there. I'm not sure that there is. I wish Zach was in here so we could ask him because he's the lead recruiting guy. He knows all the stuff.
Yeah, we're here to watch film.
Yeah, that's all I'm good for is watching film. Off topic, what are your thoughts on wide receiver recruiting so far this class? Yeah, Keon Brown. I mean, they were very active with him. There were some concerns. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to get into it too much. There were some concerns for him by the staff. I'm not sure. I also think he's getting blown up a little bit. I don't necessarily think he's as good as people are wanting him to be. I know he's a local prospect, but I also think they're screwing up. I mean, I think they should offer the Micah Mays kid at wide receiver, and I think that they're living some pipe dream that they're going to land Hakeem Williams or Jalen Brown, and ultimately, I don't think it's going to happen. And they're going to be left with egg on their face again. So we've all seen this song and dance out of Ron Dugan's. I don't expect a lot different, sadly. And I'm not trying to be negative. That's not why you guys come on here to watch with us.
I would personally say that I would get used to the wide receiver position being addressed in the transfer portal for the near future.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. And by the way, Brendan's going to be writing an article on that for next week.
He is. Yeah.
Something else to look forward to. Somebody asked, do we have 5 more Briley? Do we really have 5 more scholarships left? I don't think they have 5. I know the Demas kid is coming in, or young man is coming in. The Oregon safety, Zach reported he's coming in for an OV this weekend. So that's a spot. Turntines, maybe a preferred walk on, maybe scholarship. We'll see. There's 2. I think maybe there's 3 left. Percentage chance JT gets to 215 before Duquesne. What did he say he was on the spaces the other night with the Rising Spear spaces? I know he said he's over 200. Yeah. He's got some stuff figured out in his life, which I think is good. I don't want to get into the kid's business too much, but he's got some things figured out, which I think are going to allow him to get his weight up. Yeah, 207, Briley. Thank you. So, I mean, get to 215. I don't think it's hard. I don't think he'll stay there throughout the season because he's going to naturally lose some weight as camp gets here.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's magically going to be less injury prone because he's put on 10 pounds.
No.
I think it probably doesn't hurt, but I don't think it's going to be some magic bullet where now he's...
I also don't think he's injury prone. So
yeah, we'll see.
I don't know.
I hope you're right because we've been diving into a lot of stats and just to kind of give an impression. I mean, this offense is a top 20 offense probably.
Whoa.
With Jordan Travis starting last year in terms of, general yards per play and efficiency.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that's, you can extend that throughout a whole season is debatable, but this team's definitely a different team when Jordan Travis is playing quarterback. And so
I agree.
I don't think I mean, last year your backup quarterback wasn't helping off the bench too much. So,
No.
but you know, if he can stay healthy, things look a little bit different.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
So when's a follow up passing video coming up? So hopefully that's out early next week, I believe is the plan. I actually haven't started recording it, so it's it's a process. So if you see me recording wearing this green shirt, it's probably I probably recorded it right after I got off.
I think the goal is for it to drop next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. I
Then
think
I
that
might
was
not
the
record
timeline.
tonight. I got all the time in the world.
Thursday for the O-line video, Tuesday for the wide receiver article, or I'm sorry, Thursday for the O-line article, Tuesday for the wide receiver article, and then Thursday for the follow-up video. If you guys got any video ideas, I mean, we're in June. We're a month and a half out from camp, and obviously we're going to get our position previews fired up here over the next couple weeks. But if you've got any video ideas that you guys would like to see,
I mean, I'm still trying to convince Brendan to let me make that mesh video.
Listen, I hope Brendan's in here so he hears this.
Yeah, he doesn't want me to do it. He doesn't want the people to see mesh. He doesn't want the people to see the truth.
See mesh. They need it. They need it in their lives.
Oh man,
Kirk wants mesh. He needs mesh.
Hey Ben. Hey Dane.
What's up, Dane? What's up, Ben? Yeah, Damon Wilson's probably not in our wheelhouse right now. Guys visiting Georgia don't typically end up signing with Florida State right now.
Gosh,
sadly.
That's crazy. That's such a crazy world. Growing up in Atlanta and hearing that now is kind of sad to hear. But
Ben wants the mesh. He needs a breakdown of Fuller's defense. We've actually got one.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Fuller defensive stuff.
Yeah, if you go back on the X's and O's channel, maybe we can do a fresh one.
Yeah, so I've got a coverage breakdown of Fuller, and we have a general personnel usage breakdown of Fuller. Later this summer, we're also planning on doing a lot of front talk. So between those three things, you can get a pretty good feeling for kind of Fuller's defense, but definitely something we want to talk about going forward. I think it's going to be the strength of the team.
Get a bourbon sponsorship for the mesh video. Brendan will be begging. Oh, Brendan's too busy being a rising star right now. He's a
superstar. He just makes us get on and talk about football camps. We're his minions now.
We're 30 minutes in. We're gonna get out of here.
We're not even talking about Denaud anymore.
But we love you guys. I mean, it's 9:30 on June 8th, and we're just talking about Wilkie Denauds, whether the kid should be a take or not. 40 people showed up to listen to us. So, we love all you guys. Like, no matter where we're at, what's going on in life, you guys are the best. We've got some of the best supporters of our information in the YouTube channels. So we will catch you soon for sure.
Yep. See you guys later.
Go Noles.
We'll be back relatively soon.
Absolutely.